We are right into it. Okay. It's like a trailer. Whoa. Jesus, don't spoil too much. Hiya, you alright? My name is Silver and welcome to Angels with Scaly Wings. This is a game that I found about dragons. And it's sort of like a visual novel type thing. I don't know how much gameplay it actually is. I don't know much about it. But it had really good reviews and it looked good, so I wanted to give it a try. So we're gonna try a new game today. And we'll see how it goes. The year is 20-nothing. Only recently has humanity discovered a portal that leads into a different world, populated with a race of intelligent talking dragons. I was one of the few to travel to this world. Wow. But maybe I should start at the beginning. It all began when we discovered a strange device in the middle of nowhere during one of our expeditions. A portal. I had heard about similar technology before, though that had been more on an experimental level. From what I knew, other portals had been created in the past and were under consideration for mass application. As for this one in particular, though, we did not know who had built it nor when, or why we found it in the wilderness where we did. What was more exciting to us was the fact that it was functional. After our first test, we found there was someone else on the other side who was in possession of a similar portal, and our attempts at communication through letters were successful. But in the end, the machine's extraordinary demand for power meant we needed to act quickly, as we wouldn't be able to keep the portal open much longer. When we made this known to the other side, we received a very unexpected reply, a letter of invitation. After some deliberation, it was decided to accept their hospitality and send a person to the other side. There was an individual who took the job almost immediately. Me? Oh, Reza Izquierdo. I knew him, or rather, had known him. He attended the same school back then, and even had a few classes together. We never really were close friends, but we talked to each other occasionally and hung around with the same crowd sometimes. However, we still went our separate ways in the end. I wasn't sure what to think about the whole thing, but we had to have known what he was doing. He certainly was brave. But he had to have known. Either that, or very foolish. While I wasn't sure which, his courage was applauded by others. After all, he couldn't possibly have known who or what would await him at the other side, at the other end of the portal, and if he did meet someone there, who knew what kinds of intentions they might have. Not that any speculation on our part would have made a difference. When the day finally came, through he went, with applause echoing across the area. Equipped only with the clothes he wore, his multi-tool gun, and a device on his wrist that acted as a PDA. Then we waited. Did he die? The crowd that was applauding him suddenly dispersed when the enthusiasm died down, as there was nothing for us to do but wait and speculate. Approximately 8 hours later, we received our first message from him. While we had assumed the portal had led to another in a different country, or maybe on a different continent, the reality turned out to be much more foreign. The situation described to us was so outlandish that we initially took it as a joke. A very bad joke, maybe, with even worse timing and no punchline at all. It soon became clear to us, though, that we may just have made one of the most important discoveries since the dawn of mankind. Finding the portal had been remarkable in itself, but this took it to a completely different level. From what he described about the place, or more accurately, its inhabitants, we surmised it could not be part of Earth at all. Oh my god. We called them dragons. because according to Ressa, that's what they were, or at least what they resembled most. Even though we found it hard to believe, it had been these dragons who sent us all the letters, and what Risa found on the other side of the portal was a whole civilization of them. They could talk, write books, had buildings and electricity. In many ways, the society was actually very similar to our own. So who were they? And where was this place? Could they be aliens? Or speculation led us to conclude otherwise. After all, we knew about the existence of thousands of planets millions of light years away that may have been theoretically inhabitable, yet even when we had never found conclusive proof in regards to actual alien life forms. Some people brought up quantum mechanics and parallel universes, but in the end all of this was just conjecture and an ultimately fruitless endeavor, since we neither had the means nor the resources to explore these possibilities in greater detail. I think there was just one more thing worth mentioning before I move on. The previous isolation had been mutual. They hadn't known about any other intelligent life forms beyond their own. Their portal had only recently been discovered and was a technology previously unknown to them. And just as we had myths about dragons, they had myths about us. That was what we knew about them so far, and as interesting as learning those things and debating their cultural significance was, we couldn't really know what we should make of it all. Ressa apparently was sure of what he was doing, though as he eventually let us know that they had agreed on a trade. We were to give them a few of our PDA devices, which contained vast amounts of knowledge, dwarfing even that of encyclopedias. In return, they would supply us with generators. Overall, they didn't seem as technology advanced as we had been, but they did surpass us in that one aspect. Their means of generating energy seemed sustainable. Not only that, but evidently also quite efficient. We certainly would be able to put technology like that to good use, and trading mere past knowledge of the human race for something more tangible was a good call on his part. That was where I came in. My prior experience in both biology and sociology made me a good fit to deliver our PDA devices for the trade. And while in the Dragon's world, waiting for the prototypes of our generators to be manufactured by them, I would act as ambassador on humanity's behalf. What a way to make a first impression by a display of mutual goodwill. Everyone benefits and everyone goes home happy. All is well. At least that was the plan. Despite the images that living, talking dragons might conjure up in some people's minds, I didn't even think of bringing a weapon myself, considering that they were reportedly friendly and peaceful enough. There was no need for me to fear potential ill intentions like Ressa did when he had stepped into unknown territory, and acting as a humanities ambassador, I had to do my best to uphold a high standard in fostering this diplomatic relationship. When the time came for me to step through the portal, all my mental preparedness vanished. My anxiousness was fueled by all the questions lurking in my head, just as the machine started to do its work. Would it hurt? Who would I meet on the other side? What if they really weren't so friendly and just made Ressa write those letters with the pretense of appearing friendly, only to lure us into the den of man-eating monsters and certain doom, with us ending up as nothing more than a tasty afternoon snack? Maybe I should have brought a weapon after all. Suddenly, I felt a shiver coursing throughout my whole body and beyond, when I disintegrated as if every cell, every atom of my body was torn from me and pulled into a different direction. Alright, I saw darkness and light, painting patterns in the stars as we traveled, and images rapidly flashed before me of things unseen and unspoken, both horrifying and beautiful. It was an experience unlike any other, yet over in just a split second. Then it was dark. I could only see a patch of light, color contrasting with its dark surroundings as my vision started to clear. Its edges got sharper as the patch of light slowly took shape, giving me the distinguished outline of a reptilian head and an array of horns spouting from it. Are we gonna see a dragon now? Oh. Oh. Uh. 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 It's wearing clothes. It was a dragon! As I can now see a dragon who not only had a pair of round glasses, but also wore a burgundy tie around its neck. Yeah, it has glasses too. What the heck? Remy? In the name of our people, I bid you welcome. If I may introduce myself, I am Remy, your guide and ambassador, a representative of our council. The dragon spoke. It was one thing to have read about this, but something else entirely to have one standing in front of me, in flesh and blood and tongue. How do you know it has blood? You don't know. It's an alien. Well, it could be. It was good that all my mental preparedness had disappeared when I was teleported, because nothing could have prepared me for this. Sorry, I imagine you might still feel the effects of the teleportation. Drowsiness or weakness is not unusual, as is fainting and spontaneous emptying of your bowels, bladder, or stomach. How do you feel? Rendered speechless, I had forgotten that I was shouldering the burden of representing my people to them as well, as much for being professional, but at least he gave me a good excuse for my blunder. I think I'm all right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Maybe we should go before it gets too dark. Come with me, please. Okay. So I followed the dragon, not straying too far from him, as the sun had already departed for the day, and the remaining light diminished by the minute. Oh. It is getting hard to see where I'm going. Sorry about that, but we had a good reason to schedule your arrival like this. We did not want you to be ambushed by a crowd, so we had to keep your exact time and date of arrival secret. Thanks. I suppose an event like this would make me a celebrity of sorts. It would be the same if one of you came to us. That's quite an understatement. Some people here are rather superstitious. They might regard you, or any of your kind, as divine, I suppose. Alright. Really? How so? We do have certain myths that involve humans, and as such, I suppose history lessons will have to wait for another time. Here we are. By this point I had forgotten. It had gotten so dark that I could barely make out the building before us. I briefly wondered whether they might have streetlights elsewhere, or if they did just not require any due to possibly enhanced eyesight or night vision. I could vaguely see the dragon, his light color still visible within the blackness that engulfed the area, rear up and manipulate the door handle with one of his forepaws. Manipulated. Really? Oh, this is nice. Hinges creaking, the door opened, and with the flick of a switch, the apartment was flooded with light, blinding me after all the time we had just spent without it. This is where you will live for the time being. It is fully stocked, but in case you need anything else, I left you a note with a few phone numbers. It is getting rather late, so I will have to take my leave now. In any case, someone will come and meet you tomorrow morning. Thank you, Remy. Have a good night. Until we meet again. His ears are all like all curly and messed up. It's kind of cute. With a nod, Remy left the apartment, mindful enough to close the door behind him. Surveying the room, I considered the events that had just transpired as my gaze met the window. I could see movement outside, and as I drew nearer, startled, I could hear footsteps in the grass, moving away quickly, assuming it must have been the dragon I just met. I thought nothing of it, as I went to bed and slowly succumbed to the sweet allure of sleep overdue. I spent a few moments thinking about my role, my mission, and what I was meant to be here now. How can he just sleep? It's like alien worms. I'm gonna sleep. I would be terrified. I felt the responsibility placed on my shoulders. I was eager for the adventure to come. Well, that's a good attitude, I guess. How do I move on? Oh my god, I have to click. It was an option. Okay. Sorry. So many possibilities, prospects raced through my mind. Truth be told, the thought of being able to meet an entirely new species and civilization excited me, as I was going to be one of the first to truly experience the society with its own little quirks, differences, and similarities. I couldn't help but feel like some sort of modern Vasco da Gama or Marco Polo. Maybe I would even write a book about the whole experience after it's all over. I was sure it would become a hit, all things considered. At any rate, this was going to be fun. Sure. Let's hope. Oh God, Inception, Chapter 1. Inception is Chapter 1. That's a dragon hatching out of an egg under a tree and the sun. Okay. Whew. Whoa. I awoke from uneasy dreaming, looking at an unfamiliar ceiling. Just for a moment I wondered where I was before the events of last night all came back to me. After a good stretch, I look around the room, illuminated by the sunlight coming in from the window. Outside in the distance, the portal I had emerged from proudly stood on the peak of a small hill. Getting ready, I noticed something lying on the table. It was the note Remy had left me in case I needed anything, along with his own home phone and work number. There were also some numbers for delivery of food and other necessities, as well as emergency and even janitorial services. He had certainly thought of everything, even though I now had to wonder what a dragon plumber might look like. Like, do they eat the same food as us? Like, what? My musings were interrupted when the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, I was met by another dragon. Another dragon? Whoa! You're a cop? You're a cop dragon? So weird. Hello, you must be Silver. I'm Sebastian, and I'll be your escort or security, I suppose. Usually I work for the police though. Nice to meet you. He seemed a lot smaller than Remy, and when he somewhat nervously extended his arm towards me, I noticed he apparently only walked on his hind legs, the two forelimbs instead having distinct arm, hands, and fingers. Kiss his hand? Oh my god, what is that? Okay, shake his hand, don't shake his hand, kiss his hand. What would you do? It's like a freaking claw arm that comes towards you. Okay, I'm not gonna kiss his hand. I'm gonna shake it? Let's try it. When I took his hand into mine to shake it gently, I could feel the individual bumps and scales on his rough skin. Nice to meet you too, Sebastian. So where are you taking me? Straight to business, huh? We're going to visit the plant where they are making your generators. They have some news for you, or so I've heard. Ressa will be there too. Okay, so I didn't offend him with the handshake, that's good. Sounds great. Just follow me. Okay. While we walked, I was under the impression we were purposely avoiding the busier parts of the town, instead of straying towards the edges and smaller alleys as to not gather too much attention. Even then, we got the occasional stare. After just a couple of minutes, we arrived at our destinations, where we were met by Risa, as well as yet another dragon. A vicious-looking beast that didn't stay too close to him. What the hell? He's not vicious, he's cute! Cute! Damn. Risa. Hey. Risa, long time no see. How true that is. Good to finally see another human face around here. What a coincidence to have you, of all people, show up. Yeah, I guess those degrees aren't so useful after all. By the way, who's your friend? Just my bodyguard, same as yours. Don't bother with him, he doesn't talk much. Oh, I bet he'd win in a fight with mine though. That's rude! That's rude against Sebastian, why would you say that? He looks grumpy, just like you. Just like you is probably the best option here. Very funny. The two dragons exchanged a few words, and as I met the gaze of the larger tenebrous dragon a few paces from us, Sebastian turned towards me and spoke again. Oh. Hey Silver, this is Maverick. Nice to meet you. Yeah, whatever. Just don't expect me to give you any special treatment like everyone else is. And we'll be good. What are you talking about? So you're saying you haven't noticed the stairs and how they all treat you like you're the next messiah or something? No, I just thought. We're not the ones making a big deal out of it. You are. We're just here to get what we agreed on, and then we'll be gone. If anything, I'd actually prefer if you left us alone. But you're the one who insists on following me around wherever I go. Oh, a growl escaped the darker dragon's trembling lips as he bared his teeth at Risa. Damn, what the heck? Alright, that's quite enough. Let's just all go inside already, shall we? After you. Oof. Is Risa gonna die? The crisis was quickly averted as we entered the building, which was characterized by its many floors, high ceilings, and long narrow hallways as Sebastian led us to our destination. There you are! I was waiting for you! What the hell? I'm supposing that's a female. I'm just guessing. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. She looks female. She's also like a raptor on like hind legs. Wait a minute. I thought we were going to meet the guys from production. What are you doing here? They're only coming in later today, so you'll just have to make do with me. I see. Well, Silva, this is Anna. She kinda manages this building, though actually she's more involved with the research wing rather than production and engineering. Nice to meet you. My pleasure. I have something for you, by the way. It'll take them a while to make all the generators, we promised, but we've gotten one for you here. Feel free to send it home and give it a test. Ah, that's great. I'll take it. That's great. I'll take it. Looks a little small, if you ask me. Don't underestimate its power. Oh, and do be careful not to drop it. Sure, I'll be waiting outside while you do your thing, Silver. What the hell? He's fast. I suppose I'll wait for you outside as well. Alright, bye-bye, Sebastian. What thing? Oh, have you brought the PDA? Of course, here you go. Alright, now to give this thing a test run. The PDA lit up as her hand swiftly moved around its interface in calculated motions. By the way, would you consider letting me run some tests on you as well? It will only take a drop of your blood. Why? I work in biology, so obviously this kind of thing would be very interesting to us. I'll share the results with you, of course. Yeah, we're friendly. They are dragons. They could beat us in a fight. Great! She was quick to produce a small device from a drawer, which from a glance reminded me a lot of a test tube. Now, if you would give me your hand, please. Is she blushing? Or is that just her face? I don't know. As I reached out to her, she took my hand into hers before she pressed the device into the back of my hand. I winced as pain dropped through my hand. Something sharp drove itself through my skin, and shortly afterwards a droplet of blood was sucked into the tube attached to the small needle. Thanks. You're welcome. You gave Anna your blood! Great. Looks like your PDA is good, by the way, so we're just about done here. And since we're both in biology, it could be interesting if you want to meet me some other time as well. Here's my number. Wow, I just got her number. Okay, she was definitely blushing before. What the heck? Alright. See you soon. She's doing it again. What? Well, that was interesting. Yeah, what the heck? Did she ask for your blood too? Yeah. Did you give it to her? Yeah. Oh, well, it's your choice. We've got no idea what they might do with it, though. I'm getting hungry. What about some breakfast? Talking about blood, I'm hungry. Am I a vampire? I'm all for it. I can't stand early mornings like this. Ah, Sebastian. That shouldn't be a problem. There's a cafe not too far from here. What do you say, Mavis? I wouldn't mind grabbing a bite myself. That settles it then. Wouldn't there be dragons here? Wouldn't they stare at us? Luckily for us, the cafe was mostly empty when we arrived, as it was still pretty early in the day. Alright. Ressa was quick to lead me to the table for two, prompting the dragons to get one of their own on the other side of the restaurant. Ugh, finally, I can't stand that guy being on my tail all the damn time. You don't have a tail. They say it's for our own security. It does seem rather strange that they need someone following us everywhere. Maybe he just likes you a lot. That's a good answer. We were approached by an individual who appeared to be the waitress at the cafe. She was an interesting-looking dragon who, unlike the others I had seen so far, was more akin to a Byron. possessing 2 rather large wings at her forelimbs, which resembled those of an oversized bat. Oh my god, she's cute! She has a helmet! Oh, it's the humans! You were able to correctly identify a species based on what we look like? Congratulations! Wait, where? Oh, it's a dragon. Okay, well, maybe this one, I guess. That's a good one! Oh, Adine? Welcome to our establishment. My name's Adine, and I'll be your waitress for today. What can I bring you to? Just a coffee for me. What about some scrambled eggs with bacon? Today's special. I don't like coffee. I don't like eggs. I think try today's special? Yeah, me too. Just make it quick. Sure thing. 2 specials coming right up. She has like small flying goggles. That's adorable. As I was saying, if you look at the big picture, don't you think there's just something off about this whole place? Where is it really? If this is supposed to be a completely separate place from Earth, or even a different dimension, some things just don't add up. Don't you think so too? Yeah, I noticed it too. I'm not sure. Let me just grab my tinfoil hat real quick. I'm not sure. I can't really say much. I can't really say much more with you know who over there. He's probably listening to us right now. Yeah, he's a charming fellow shark. He doesn't seem so bad to me. When I let my gaze wander, I saw that Maverick was looking in my direction. Our eyes met briefly, his expression not showing any discernible emotion, while I wondered whether it had just been a coincidence, or if he really was able to hear us from that distance. I do have some theories, and if I'm right, we might be in trouble. What kind of trouble? What are you talking about? Shh, be quiet. I'll let you know more as soon as I can. But for now, let's just play along. After all, we already have one of these babies. Oh, the generators. He patted the generator's box for emphasis. God knows we need them. Oh, there she comes. Ah, the female returned, astounding me with her ability to balance the dishes on the edge of her wings. She placed her forelimbs on the table and proceeded to move the dishes from her wing to us with a gentle push of her snout. Oh my god! There you go! Watch out, it's hot! Thanks. Now shoo, scaly face! Come on! Thanks. You're welcome. And she's gone. Apparently today's special consists of an odd-looking fish of some sort. I was a little hesitant to try it, but considering the steam coming from it, it was probably better to wait a few minutes anyway. Alright, it's not the worst kind of dish you could get in this world. When the waitress brought out meals to the 2 dragons across the cafe and exchanged a few words with them, Rita leaned forward and whispered something to me. I'll send you a letter with a coded message later. You'll know what to do. Rita rose from his seat before he made it known to me that he still had a few things to do and left the restaurant, followed shortly after by the larger of the 2 dragons. But you haven't even touched your fish. I wasn't in a hurry, so I spent a few more minutes in contemplation while I looked out the window. Not that this whole situation was already bizarre enough. There was also now the vague sense of danger conveyed by Risa's earlier words. I did not even have an idea what kind of threat might be lurking out there. Eventually, I took a bite of my somewhat unusual breakfast. While I already thought the smell was quite peculiar, the taste had been even worse. I imagined it might be the kind of delicacy that had an acquired taste, one that I certainly hadn't acquired yet. I decided to get outside before it was too late. Are you done? Sure am. How do you like it? Oh my god. My cat choked me. I'll just say it's probably not for me. And you wouldn't be the only one to say that. You better wait outside just in case it decides to come up again. What? You tried the odd-looking fish? Yay. Sure thing. Damn. I stepped outside, taking in the scenes of this strangely familiar world. In the short time I was here, I had already found the similarities between their world and our own utterly fascinating. After all, we were talking about an unmapped place with a never-before-seen form of life. As far as discoveries were concerned, even something as simple as a new unicellular organism, or even bacteria would have been remarkable. Yet here I was, standing in the middle of a village, evidently built up by this race of intelligent talking dragons, with a society not unlike our own. Risa didn't seem to share the same interest, and instead was more smitten with the generator. But given our reasons for coming here in the first place, I couldn't blame him for his enthusiasm being focused on something else. My thoughts were interrupted as something suddenly zipped past me just a little too close, causing me to stumble back. It was a rather small dragon with a back clamped in its maw, who apparently had somewhere to be. Whoa. Cute. Pink. I regained my footing and watched as it disappeared into the distance, even though I had seen enough dragons to recognize their variations in size, color, and other attributes. I guess this one must have been a juvenile of its species. Shortly afterwards, Sebastian joined me outside, having taken care of the tap. I gave her a generous tip on your behalf. I hope you don't mind. Of course not, as long as I don't have to pay the bill. How nice of you. Yeah. In any case, now that you've given us the PDA and Risa has the generator, you're free for today. As if you want to go anywhere in particular, let me know, or I could show you around town. I was tempted to be given a tour, but considering Risa's words, I wanted to be careful and not stray too far without knowing more about this world first. I think I'll stay home for today. I still have to get used to everything, you know. I'll just accompany you back then. Thanks, Sebastian. There we are. Home sweet home, for now, at least. Well, if you need anything, I'll be outside until my shift ends. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. See you tomorrow. See ya. Oh, I mean, he seems friendly enough. I hadn't really looked at the apartment much, so I spent the rest of the day investigating it and relaxing. I considered checking out some of the phone numbers Remy had left me, but I thought it was better to keep a low profile for now. I found the kitchen fully stocked with plenty of groceries. Though the variety was wasted on me, I hadn't been a particularly great cook in the first place. But what was more, I didn't even recognize some of the things I found there. Whether they were edibles that we had back home that I just didn't know about, or something completely alien, I wasn't sure, but I didn't want to take the risk of eating anything I didn't know. After all, it was possible that some of the constables might be fine for them to eat, but still be poisonous to us. I was also glad to find a shelf that was filled to the brim with a variety of books. While I found the subject matter of man, myth, or reality to be quite intriguing, I had to give up after a few pages due to its exceptionally dry writing style, which I wasn't inclined to enjoy at the moment. In the end, I settled for an adventure novel about a dragon archaeologist who stumbled upon the remains of a long-lost human civilization, after which she is hunted by an evil organization who wants to use the found magical artifacts for its own nefarious purposes. While entertaining, I had to admit that it reminded me a little too much of the trashy novels we had at home. I certainly found it amusing that certain tropes were not really unique to us as a species, though I wondered whether this kind of literature had fallen into disfavor here, as it had back where I had come from. I was reading a particularly exciting scene in which the hero Sheridan uses one of the magical artifacts shaped like a pair of human hands, holding a scepter with a globe at the top to prevent herself from being crushed and ground into a bloody pulp by an ancient human temple moving walls, where I suddenly heard the doorbell ring. Okay. Who goes there? What the hell? What? A delivery? Why did you look so sassy about it? Oh my god. Hello there. Would you please sign here? I'm not signing away my rights with this, am I? I got a letter for you that requires signature confirmation. I see. Looking over the clipboard the small dragon was holding up to me, I saw that the sender of the letter in question was Risa. There you go. I'm Lorian, by the way. Would you mind if I asked you for a few questions? What's this about? I'm just making small talk. Wait a minute, I recognize you. You tried to do the same thing with Risa. Maybe I should report you to your superiors for your inappropriate behavior towards your clients. But it's important, please. Just let me talk to Silva for a few minutes. You know how it is. If you want to interview one of the humans, you'll have to get permission from the proper authorities. Help me out, Silva, as an ambassador, if you care about the accurate portrayal of humans in the media, don't you? Then you should talk to me, otherwise someone else will fill in the blanks, and who knows what they will come up with. Let me show you something. The small dragon opened his bag, rummaging through a number of letters and small packages. I think I lost it. Anyway, I want to show you some pictures of what people think humans look like. On some of them, they have like 4 heads and look nothing like you. It's crazy. What are you, Lorem? A reporter? No, I'm just... Do you want me to remove him, Silva? Is what he's saying is true? Yeah, I guess. I see, that sounds pretty interesting though. Alright, you can leave your number here and maybe I'll call you later. But that's all I can promise. Thank you so much. He quickly produced a small sheet of paper and scribbled his number on it, after which he sheepishly presented it with both hands. Alright, you got what you wanted, off you go now. I like how I just fly out. Eee! Sorry about that. Don't worry about it. I guess that should be all. I'll see you tomorrow then. Right. With all the commotion, I almost forgot that I was also still holding Risha's letter. Within the plain envelope was a similar plain sheet of paper with his handwriting. When I started reading, however, I saw that his wording was so full of the pleasantries I knew he hated that I assumed every word of it was fake, as to conceal his true intent. He did mention I would know what to do, but I was unsure how I was supposed to decode the letter's secret message. I didn't remember ever seeing a conversation about this topic with him, yet he still relied on me to remember whatever it was that I was missing, or he thought I would just be able to figure it out on my own. This is what it said. Hello, my dear friend. I hope this letter reached you swiftly, in a good condition. Unfortunately, we were not able to catch up earlier, so I wanted to write you this letter. How have you been these last few years? What have you been doing? How's the family? I feel like there is so much we should talk about since we have not seen each other much recently. At least we have a chance to do so in this form. Quite an exciting venture we are on now, right? How have you liked it here so far? Made any dragon friends yet? Haha. Anyways, I'll be looking forward to your reply soon. Best regards, Lisa. Various things came to mind. Only reading certain words or letters was one that I thought of immediately, but I couldn't make out anything after trying to find a system within its array of letters and lines. Maybe I had to look more carefully. I think I know its meaning. Read between the lines, look elsewhere for hints. Read between the lines? Lines, of course. Maybe I was supposed to read between them. I didn't have an implement on me with which I would be able to read fine print, though with this handwritten letter, I doubted Risa would have done anything of the sort. I looked elsewhere for hints. Or maybe he referred to the fact that we were both given an apartment. Considering the things they provided for us, maybe I just had to find the right object to decode the message. There were many everyday items here, though, and of course I still had no idea what in particular I was looking for. Look in the kitchen. Look in the fridge. Plenty of stuff in here. Look, this is an unlabeled container with some sort of white liquid inside. Well, here goes nothing. It's salty. What did I drink? What did I just drink? Look at the lemon. Lemons, of course. Why didn't I realize it sooner? Lemon juice is about the simplest way to write a hidden message using household items. We learned about that in chemistry, in the most boring detail, of course. A message written in lemon juice on paper becomes just about invisible to the naked eye when dried. But after heating it gently, oxidization occurs, making the message visible. That was a lucky guess. I was sitting next to him in class when we learned that. He made a joke about using the method to cheat on the next test, and I replied by saying he would have to bring an iron. Had he really expected me to remember a random chemistry class that happened years ago? But then I did remember it after all. Meet me at the portal tonight, 10 p.m. was all the message said. I wasted a good amount of time, but I still had some left before I had to go out to meet Risa, so I decided to make some lunch. Afterwards, I resumed reading my book about the continuing adventures of Shiradan and her exploits in destroying cultural artifacts. Unsurprisingly, it came to an happy end, but the evil organization stopped in its tracks, at least for now. I thought the ending was deliberately left open for ambiguity, but when I turned the page and saw the advertisement for the next entry in this apparently long-running series of books, I realized all of this had just been a ploy to set up the inevitable sequel. Luckily, the disappointment didn't last long, as I had to get going to meet Risa at the portal. When I got outside, it didn't seem quite as dark as it was when I arrived yesterday. I might have had difficulties finding my way otherwise, but I could still see the portal in the distance. Alright, I'm gonna end that here, because I've been doing it. We've been playing for a while. And then I'm gonna save for next time to find out what Risa wants, if you guys are interested in it. I realize this is a very text-heavy, story-driven kind of novel, visual novel game, but I think it's interesting enough. So if you guys find it interesting enough, it helps me practice my reading, so that's good for me. And I think it's really strange, but I think it's interesting. It's more interesting than strange, so maybe that'll be enough to make me want to keep playing. But let me know what you guys think. That was most important in all this. In any case, thank you so much for watching this first episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're having a good time, and hopefully we'll meet again. So long.